Welcome to another conversation. This is the Oregon Brewery Running Series show. My name is Nathan Freeberg, and I'm here with Gary Geist. Is that how I'm saying that right? Gary Geist from Lucky Lab Brew Pub, Brewery, Restaurant, Dog Hangout, really.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, down here on Hawthorne Avenue. And we're going to sample some beer. We're going to talk about Lucky Lab, but I would like to encourage you to sign up for the Lucky Lab 5K run with us on Saturday, July 29th. And the first 5 people who hop on and click on the link that I shared right there, if you enter the promo code Lucky Lab free, you get a free entry. First 5 people. Gary's going to do it. Is a 5K, like, you do those in your sleep, basically, right?
I can't count that low.
He can't count that low. We're going to talk about that more later. And if you're not quick enough for that, or maybe you're watching this, on July 27th, and those have already been spoken for, you can use Lucky Lab 5, and you can still save $5, because we're all about being active, having fun, and, of course, giving back to the community. So, Gary, welcome.
Nathan.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Awesome.
How are you?
Good. What does a Wednesday look like in the life of a brewery owner, operator, all those things?
Changes every Wednesday.
Changes every Wednesday. So what have you been up to this Wednesday so far?
Oh, boy, this Wednesday. I've been over at the Quimby Brewery in Northwest Portland, kind of troubleshooting our little bottling line, and had some problems going on, so I was just wrestling with that thing, and so got that solved, and got my son out landscaping outside here at Hawthorne, so got him working for me today, and he just got out of school, so
put him to work.
Put him to work. Yep. and here I am.
Fantastic. Did you fix the problem?
Yeah.
At Quimby? You got that all taken care of?
95% there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
So you mostly do troubleshooting?
Oh boy, no, I don't do any of. I don't know what I'm
problem fixer, problem solver guy.
I'm kind of like, at the fair, the whack-a-mole game where that's my job. Yeah, whatever.
Awesome.
And the bigger the mole that comes up, I gotta whack it harder, and that's the one I gotta go for first. So,
awesome.
I do that. So I don't really handle much of any of the brewing operations. I do go and troubleshoot once in a while, but my business partner Alex is mostly in charge of that. And then I kind of handle everything else as far as like the pubs, kind of general manage all the pubs. I do the books. I do some payroll stuff. I do employee administration. There's all kinds of stuff.
Hey, are you HR as well?
On the back end of things, I don't do the hiring, but usually I have to come in. And
okay.
They bring me in, the heavy,
right.
To,
the heavy hand of justice.
Exactly.
Coming down.
Yeah, it's no fun, but somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it, and in a small business, inevitably that ends up coming to the co-owner.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
How long have you guys been in business? How is it? 23 years, 24 years, 22 years?
Boy, I think we're 22 years.
22 years. Okay.
Like that, 94. So no, we're going on our 23rd year, I guess.
Yeah.
So
94. And, that's crazy. Well, I have so many questions for you about that. But before this beer gets cold, you have brought a few. I think there's 3 here, correct?
Sure.
3 for each of us.
Yep.
And for those of you watching at home, what I asked Gary to do is just bring me 3 beers that he felt were a good sort of snapshot of the beer that they produce here at Lucky Lab. So, Gary, what'd you pour for us?
All right, let's start here with this one on the end. This is our Kolsch. And cheers.
I like Kolsch. Cheers to you.
And this is German style, come from Cologne, Germany. And nice and refreshing, light.
That's very good. Very refreshing, especially on this warm, beautiful day here in Portland.
Yep, exactly. Got a little bit of the kind of grassiness to it, kind of mild holler hop to it, it's got
really good.
A little bit of a bready kind of flavor to
Sure.
it. So it's really good, and we've been making this one ever since day one.
Did I read somewhere that you guys dreamed up this whole thing when you were backpacking through? Was it Germany? Was it Europe in general?
Sort of, yeah. Alex and I got out of college. He was on the 5-year plan. He was a swimmer, so he was on the 5-year plan. But
it's tough to cram a 4-year degree into 5 years.
Yep. And Anyway, and so he and then I had to save money to travel, and so we went through Europe, and just did kind of the backpacker thing through Europe, and went to some just incredible places all throughout Europe, in Germany especially. And
it's
we
kind of
knew
the birthplace of beer, right?
Exactly. We graduated, me in '88, Alex in '89, and that was right, kind of the first wave of the microbrewery revolution.
Mm-hmm.
And
Bridgeport opened around then, didn't they?
Yeah. So you got the Bridgeport, Widmer, Portland Brewing, all about the same time.
And one of you or both of you worked for Bridgeport for a little bit, right?
We actually both did.
Both did. Okay.
I worked at Bridgeport just after we went to Europe, and I worked there part-time, and then I had a finance job downtown. And then right as I was going full-time to the finance job, Alex ended up getting a job there as a brewer, and so he worked there for about 3 years. And while he was there, we did a lot of home brewing and a lot of dreaming and
the classic story of
exactly
living the brewer's dream.
Living the brewer's dream, yep. And then finally we got to a point where we just kind of said, hey, are we going to do this, or are we going to talk about it the rest of our lives?
Sure.
So first things first, it's like, okay, money. How do you we didn't have any money, and
money,
so
come on.
Exactly. So we had to put together a business plan, and that was kind of a decisive kind of fork in the road, because we weren't sure if we were going to do the microbrewery route, or we were going to do the brew pub route. Microbrewery means you bottle keg and you kind of send everything out.
You don't have all of this, right?
Yeah. And then the other one is the brew pub, and so we just decided to do the brew pub route, and we modeled our business plan after that, and that took about 6 months of just kind of coming up with a formal business plan, and then it took us another 6 months of going out and pitching the plan, and
got to raise the money and got to get people interested.
Exactly. So we got about 10 people together, and then made it happen, and then we found this place we found a whole bunch of places, and the door was, slammed in our faces.
Sure. Was this the default then?
Pretty much,
The only one at the door that did not get slammed?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And we found this place. It was for lease. And then we wanted to lease it, and the owner said, no, not going to lease it to you, but we'll sell it to you. And so I was like, okay, whatever.
How do we
walked
find
out of that meeting. Yeah, exactly. But our real estate broker at the time said, hey, let's go out and do this small business administration loan. You guys can probably do it. And so had a conversation with them, and went out, talked to them in person, and later that afternoon they said, yeah, we could probably make this work. So
wow.
So it was pretty, that was one of the luckiest things that ever happened to us, was just being able to.
Lucky dogs.
Very lucky dogs, yes. Yep.
That's cool. So it's interesting. I've only lived in Portland for 4 years, but my wife is from here, so I've been here many times, and it's fascinating to me. Places like, I think Lucky Lab is a great example, where you guys have been here for 23 years?
Yeah.
Well, 23 years ago, I'm curious, what did this area look like? Because now they're calling it the second coming of the Pearl District, and there's I don't know how many different building projects going on within just a few blocks of here. It's a prime spot now. And I'm sure that you had the foresight to think, all right, 20 years down the road, this will be, because it's primarily an industrial manufacturing area, right?
Yeah. Central East Side industrial area. And we were pretty lucky. And also it's really tough just dealing with the city of Portland and how their zoning codes work, because we're doing a kind of a dual use thing. We're trying to manufacture, but at the same time we're trying to retail. So you got to kind of find the right zoning, the right building for that use. Mm-hmm. And so but it just happened to work out perfect here.
Wow.
So
well, I'm going to keep asking about that, but I want to get into the second beer.
Okay.
Before
all right, so we're going to go.
And this was a Kolsch?
That was the Kolsch, yep. And then we're going to skip over this one. This one's called Super Dog.
This is your famous. This is
the Cheers.
Cheers. Is this still your best-selling beer?
Yes, it is the best-selling beer, and we've been making this.
That's good.
Yeah. So
IPA? Super Dog IPA?
IPA, it's sort of an IPA. It's a little bit darker than your standard IPA.
Sure.
It's definitely got the hop level
that in there.
And then it's got just nice kind of floral hop to it, a big Simcoe floral hop to it. So we been making that since about 2002-ish.
Okay.
So
Wow.
for the first about 8 years we were open, it was Hawthorne's Best Bitter. That was English style, medium bodied. That was our best seller, and then the IPA craze came along in about '98.
You guys predate, or you don't predate the IPA craze, but you're right.
So it was kind of interesting, and I got to tip my hat to Bridgeport that actually did Bridgeport IPA, because that was the first really big successful IPA. There were IPAs. We started with IPA here when we first opened, but it wasn't that big of a style, and it was very hop forward. But the Bridgeport IPA was the first really heavy Cascade, grapefruity. That was just kind of a revolution, and they really kind of set this city forward.
Sure.
In the IPA craze.
I don't know the international standard, but you think they did? You think? I think it was
and it was interesting because it's kind almost a session IPA. It's kind of lower in alcohol.
Right.
It's about 5.5%, and but super drinkable, and so it's the lighter end of IPAs. But that was the beer that really kind of. Set the stage for a lot of IPAs to come.
That's wild.
So,
how many of your beers are IPAs? Where's your right
well,
there?
being in the city of Portland,
I mean, half of them. Is there a
little
city
crazy
ordinance?
Because
how many have to be?
Yes, you have to have at least half your beers IPAs, and that's the awesome thing about being in Portland is everybody just absolutely loves kind of aggressive beers. So right now we've got.
Let's see.
We're actually pretty light. We only have 3. Alt is actually our alt is very on the hoppy side. It's almost like an IPA. So there's 4 up there.
Okay.
5. Yep.
5.
Crisco Away IPA. So yeah, we've got. A bunch of them. So about maybe 40% of our portfolio.
Okay. So do you have 11 on tap right now? Is that what I?
Let me see. 2, 4, 6. We got 12.
12. Okay.
And then plus we got
count.
nitro and cask.
Right.
Plus we got cider.
Is that pretty standard? You usually have about 12 different on tap, and then do you do your own cider?
We do.
That's cool. I didn't know that. Most people have a guest cider.
Yeah, we just started making it. We call it Applegate cider.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's good.
Very cool. It's always fascinating to me talking to brewers. So I've been doing, I don't know how many of these conversations I've had now with everybody from our series, but what's fascinating to me, and I'd be curious your kind of take on the state of craft brewing, is you've got a lot of breweries that are 5 years old that have kind of made it past that failure stage.
Sure.
Not a lot, at least that I've talked to, who are in that kind of 10-year phase or stage. And then, I mean, people, 20 plus years. And I've talked with Jeff at Bridgeport.
Sure.
And then Ryan Pappy out at Portland Brewing, head brewer there. How do you survive? Like, this industry is very helpful, and everyone seems to be wanting to cheer on each other, but also very competitive, and just with so much going on. Like, what's your secret to longevity in the craft beer world?
There is.
And everyone take notes, listen carefully, because he's about to drop some knowledge here.
There is no secret. I mean, it's just you got to kind of keep on top of things. You can't just rest on your laurels. You got to keep up with what's going on in the brewing community, and then but also it's just you got to keep a ongoing decent business model. You got to have good products, good service, good environment, that sort of thing. And I think that's one thing that kind of sets us off a little different, that we're kind of a brew pub. We're very casual. We'll open.
Very
counter service. We get a lot of groups that come in that that just want to kind of hang out. We got people hanging out, working on their laptops, that sort of thing. So it's not we there's kind of a spectrum, and you've got from your tavern to a restaurant. Okay, and then so a lot of the breweries that kind of been opening seem to be kind of restaurants with beer, kind of thing, and, which is fine, but it's just not our thing. And then you got your tavern, which is
Like
kind
peanuts and pretzels is kind of all they have.
Yeah, and it's just there's TVs, and then there's just not much to do there. It's not very it's kind of divey, that sort of thing. And so we kind of like to be in the middle. We like to be a pub.
Sure.
Okay? And so that's where we're very comfortable, casual. We like people to come in and hang out, be part of the community, meet, and have a good time. They're not coming in, sitting down. Okay, get a menu. Okay, order them food, eat the food, and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
It's. I was down here the other day, totally undercover, just kind of trying to get the vibe. I haven't actually been to this location. I've been
spying
here.
On us?
I was a little bit, but it's a good report. So relax, because every brewery is so different, and we're working with 16 different breweries this year, and so for me trying to figure how do you articulate one brewery from the next, and I'm not a huge beer guy from the sense of I know what I like, what I don't like, but so I was sitting right over there. And I came in at like 2 o'clock, and I was the only one here when I first walked in. And the guy working back there is like, "Hang on, we're gonna get some music going." But then I just watched. I think at one point there was 8 people in here, middle of the afternoon. But they all either had a book or a newspaper, or a couple people playing cards.
Sure.
And I was like, "Am I in a coffee shop accidentally?" Like it had that just neighborhood, like that third space gathering location. And I've also been down here one other time. I think it was during, I don't know, it was Wicklemania or some crazy thing, and it was just you could barely walk through.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, and so in everything I've read about you guys, you've been real intentional about going for that vibe, and it's, you did it.
That's
success. So my question here is how do you, it's one thing to say that, but how do you do that? Is that something you train your staff on? Is that something that, I don't know, how do you create an environment in a place that actually is what you want? And doesn't turn into,
sometimes it's tough. You got a lot of places have lottery machines,
right?
Okay, that's just they put them in the corner, and it's basically free money,
right?
Okay, but it changes your environment,
mm-hmm.
and plus I don't know, philosophically think it's an idiot tax myself.
Sure.
And I just don't agree with it, and so. But that would take away from it. If we had, pool tables, big TVs, stuff that would kind of take
distract a little bit,
from the community. That just doesn't work. And so we've kind of had this concept ever since day one to just be a neighborhood pub, and
mm-hmm.
where people come and meet and talk and communicate, or hang out and read, and or get some work done on their laptop, that sort of thing. So I think that certain amount of people really, really, really enjoy that. There's a lot of people that don't get us. I mean, we get some people that come in, sit down, and they get really angry and
I hope
leave because a waiter didn't come up to them, and they write us a horrible Yelp review.
I was just going to say, don't read your Yelp reviews. I was looking at it.
It drives me nuts. Yeah.
Well, have you ever read Yelp reviews on some national parks?
No.
It's fascinating. People go to a national park and leave a Yelp review, and they complain about something that's there's too many bugs, or just something that's clearly you don't understand the point of that. You don't get Lucky Lab, you don't get the Grand Tetons. When did I know that your name, Lucky Labrador, was a sort of a second choice. You guys wanted to be called Lucky Dog? Lucky Dog, and a dog food company had it. So what I read is that you thought, we'll be lucky as dogs if this worked. When did the actual dog thing, I mean, there's pictures all over covering those walls of people's dogs. Was that just this is our name, so we're going to adopt this part of our personality? Or were you really intentional from the get-go of we're going to cater to the canines?
They really kind of I would say our customers really kind of brought that to us. Okay. And we came up with the logo, and we just thought it was going to be a nice, functional design. The Labradors are really friendly dogs. It would be a nice symbol of what we were trying to do. And so we, and then, just right after we opened, then people started putting up. We had some bulletin boards. People put their dogs up, and then it became.
You're okay, sure, we'll add that.
Yeah, and then people, took pictures of places all over the world where they're wearing their Lucky Lab shirt, and it's just kind of ridiculous
cool.
that happened. And so and then I came up with a really dumb idea, and that was for our first anniversary. I went back to Alex.
2000 or 94.
Well, so this was for our first anniversary, which would have been October 1995.
95. Okay. Gotcha.
So our first, we were open for a year, and I went back to Alex in the brewery and said, "Hey, I got an idea." And he's like, "What's that?" And I said, "Hey, let's do a dog wash for our regulars who kind of bring some
awesome.
Dogs."
Yeah.
And I thought okay, there's Byron's dog and Richard's dog, it's a few dogs. So we put an ad in the Willamette Week, and then we went out at 11 o'clock on Saturday, and there was a line of about 20 dogs, and it was just like,
what have we done?
And so we just washed dogs like mad.
Were you guys out there? Like you were,
yeah,
like
it was
you
Alex
and
and
your
I.
staff? Wow.
It was Alex and I. That's it. Just the two of us.
People didn't have beer that day, but they sure had some clean dogs.
And so just the two of us ended up washing over 60 dogs that first year. So
wow.
And we were just beat. So the next year we ended up contacting Dove Lewis Emergency Animal Hospital. And they came in and they helped us market it, helped us get some volunteers, and then I think that year we did 150. The year after that we did 300, and then it just built up. So
you still do that?
Yeah, every year.
When
yep.
When is that? What's the date?
September.
Okay.
Probably the second week in September, I believe. But
that's cool.
Yeah, and so. So we've ended up, I think the latest tally is we've washed about 9,000 dogs.
Wow.
One horse, one llama that just happened to show up.
Any goats? Because you're not too far from the former goat blocks.
No goats.
Okay.
No goats have shown up.
Okay.
And then, and we've raised, a couple $100,000 for Dove Lewis Emergency Animal
That's awesome.
Hospital, which is super cool. Yeah.
Good for you guys.
Great people over there.
Well, speaking of, this is an awkward segue, raising money and saving money. Your roof, you got solar panels on.
Yeah, I do. Yep.
How when you see these nice sunny days, do you just be like, yes, saving money? Or how has that been? Because has it been 10 years that you've had that?
2000, I think it was
Not
December
quite.
2007, I think, or 2008.
Okay.
I can't remember what, but yeah, quite a while.
How much of that has been, like this is just kind of the right thing to do, like we're conserving energy, versus like this is purely a business, like we're saving money and we're like.
It was all the above. It was kind of it was all the above. There were, we looked at the whole project. One of our plumbers was developing this business, and he came up to us, pitched us on the idea. I was like, okay, interesting. Let's look at the numbers, look at everything, and sounds pretty cool. And when we kind of looked at everything, just the whole holistic project, it looked like a viable project, and it looked like it was the right thing to do. And it's been great. And the best part is I can just sit there in my office and just pull it up on my computer and see.
Oh, you can see exactly
what the temperature of the tank, our solar tank is.
Is it just for heating water, or is it also electrical?
No, it's just water.
Just for water.
Just for water, and so heats up our brewing water, our pub water, and
wow.
And yesterday it was 90 degrees out. You go back there and it recirculates glycol. Is the first loop, so it goes up, and so the glycol can get super hot, and so on a really, really hot sunny day, the glycol will come down at about 230 degrees.
Wow.
And then it heats up the water, and so it saves money. Wow. It's good for everything.
Everybody the process of just heating water, is that one of the largest energy expenditures in the brewing process, or is there? Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, yeah, that, and then there's the cooling, keeping the beer cool. Refrigeration part of it. And I wish there was some way to do that. That's a little bit more friendly on the electric bill. How much a year would you, or what percentage of savings is there from installing that?
We save about somewhere between I'd say about 23 and 28% of our gas bill. Yeah, depending. And actually, this has been a horrible last 6 months, as you know. Weather's just been super dumpy. April is just horrible.
Sure.
So it kind of comes and goes, but you know, over the long run, it's definitely paid off.
So you can't store. You can't store that energy. It's definitely dependent on the sun from the day of.
We have a 1,500-gallon tank that that's it's not only insulated, but it's in a room that's insulated.
Gotcha.
And so we save that, and then we've got everything automated. So at the beginning of the day, there's a solenoid that goes off, fills up what's called the hot liquor back, and that fills up the brewing water for the day. And so it pulls off. If we're not brewing that day, it stays in that tank. And so it fills up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then there's thermostat, and if it's hot enough, it just lets it sit there at 180 degrees.
It's a pretty clever system,
which is there every all summer long.
Right.
But if it's February and it hasn't been sunny for a while, then we've got a natural gas boiler that will heat it up.
Okay.
So.
That's really cool.
And then it splits, and we heat the water for the brewery, and then also goes to the pub. So, yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I was reading about that, and I was, because I'd seen those panels driving by, riding by, running by, whatever.
Sure.
A million times, but I didn't realize their exact purpose. I just kind of assumed it's, electrical, whatever. But
that's what most people think. Yeah. The electrical thing, from what I gather, is it's a lot less efficient. The return on investment's a lot slower, that sort of thing. So
have these paid for themselves?
Oh yeah.
At this point, many times over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's try it. Speaking of paying for themselves, let's try this.
All right.
What's this last one here?
Third one. So this is a new one called we call it Wag Ipa.
Wag Ipa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just makes you happy.
All right.
So much happy.
I like
wag.
happy beers.
Yes.
Cheers.
So cheers. And so this is like kind of our. It's kind of funny. We call it the Newfoundland Ipa. So all the rage now is the New England IPA, and that's one thing we always try to be just a little bit different, awkward, sometimes stupid. Anyway, so this is our Newfoundland IPA, and we did extensive research. And actually, part of Newfoundland, you got Labrador, which is up in. It's actually Newfoundland and Labrador is up in Canada.
It smells hoppier than that one.
Yeah, so we've got the just a classic mosaic hop to this one, so it's got the big florals.
That's good. I'm usually not a huge IPA fan. I definitely enjoy it on occasion, but
yeah,
it's really good. This is tasty.
Yeah, it's been going over very, very well, and in fact, some of our regulars that have been drinking the Superdog for
this one
12, 14 years now, or they're going, maybe I'll switch over to this other one.
Time for something new.
Yep, exactly.
How do you get feedback about your beers? How do you know, this is a good one, we're going to keep selling it, keep making it, or maybe it's just if it's selling or not, versus we really like making it and drinking it, so we're going to keep doing it?
It kind of goes hand in hand. I mean, we're obviously we got to do some quality control, so we got to sample some of this stuff.
Exactly.
That in combination with and that's the fun thing about the being a brew pub as being a microbrewery. A microbrewery, you go and you make the same 5 beers, day in, day out. Maybe one seasonal. Maybe occasional one off, but not much. We're changing all the time. I mean, we're just.
How often are you doing something new? Is it a monthly? Is it a weekly?
Oh, at least weekly, monthly. Kind of depends on. I don't know what mood we're in to change. I mean, we and how quickly. And we do one-offs all the time. We have we do single hop series. We'll just have the same grain bill and we'll just change the hop on it. We're trying new hops. There's new hybrid hops coming out all the time, and so yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. You guys, I'm blanking on the name, but you do a fun I don't know, event here where people just bring in, it's called the mutt, I think. Do you still do that?
Oh, yeah.
People bring in whatever hops they happen to have and
sure, yeah.
throw them into a pot and make something.
We have a hop harvest party. I do a barbecue out on the back deck.
That's pretty fun. How'd you come up with?
It's a blast.
How'd you come up with that idea?
We've got some hops growing here, and Alex has some hops growing at home, and we just decided to, do the wet hop deal, and the mutt was just a great name for it because we don't know what kind of hops are going to go into this.
What's going to come out of it? Yeah.
And again, let's just some years it's great, some years it's not so great.
Have you ever had a year where you're like, this is not drinkable? Sorry, folks.
I don't know about not drinkable, but
not as good as
typically,
others.
like sometimes we just you get that sometimes you get that really kind of vegetable-y kind of flavor that's not that great, but also we've learned a lot just in the last, I don't know how many years we've done it, but learned a lot about how to do it, how to wet hop, and so yeah.
Yeah, I imagine you've learned a lot over all these years. Is there anything that if you were to open, knowing what you know now, if you were to open a brewery today, what would you do differently from 23 years ago or whatever it was? Would you still do it? Maybe that's the first question.
That's a good question.
Knowing what you know now,
man, it's just been just a stupid amount of work. I mean,
because you built this by hand, right? Is what I've read. Like you and Alex did a lot of this work.
We did a lot of work, yeah.
So for one,
we did. I mean, like part of the seismic upgrade on the building. Anything that we told our contractors. And our contractors were super cool. It's like. We're there for you. We'll help you. Just tell us what to do. We did just anything to save a buck, and they knew we were starting a brewery, and everybody thought that was pretty cool, and so everybody was.
And what were you guys, like 25? Like you're sort of
26, 27, something like that. Okay. And
it's your kids.
Yeah. Like not too smart either, but because we made a lot of mistakes, and you live and learn and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah. Do you ever get a chance to talk with younger brewers about?
Sure.
Stuff, and like, do you have a tried and true piece of advice that you pass on when asked, or do people ask? Do like what's?
Yeah, absolutely, and it kind of depends on where in the process they are. If they're they haven't even started. Oh, I want to start microbrewery or craft brewery.
Are you sure?
Let's
rethink this.
And it's like, okay, well, great. Where do you have a business plan? It's like, oh, no or yes. And it's like, okay, well, do you have the money, to start, because you need to start somewhere, and that's kind of the starting basis for everything. And then once they're kind of to that point, then it's I've given a lot of people advice on, as far as like real estate transactions and that sort of thing, and locations and whatnot, and given a lot of people, and I'm happy to do it because people helped me out when I was starting out.
Sure.
And so I like to help people out. So.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I think it's something I've definitely learned through this process with our fun runs is that there's no shortage of people in the brewing industry willing to help each other out.
Sure.
I mean, the fact that you guys are even letting us do this is one just one example of that. But it's a pretty cool community. Have you seen that grow? Just that collaborative spirit, or has that always been there since back in the early 90s when you guys started?
I think it's always been there. I think it's always been there.
Okay.
You sit down over a pint of beer, and
exactly.
Usually conversation turns friendly, and you're just trading information, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's
well,
it's a
and
great community.
Exactly. Whenever people ask me, like, well, why did you decide to do this, brewery running series? I mean, some of the best conversations I've had in life have either been on a run or over a beer in a pub or whatever. And so it's kind of a no-brainer. But
that's why I like to drink beer and run.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually separately, but occasionally together.
Yeah, together is not. I have not found that to be productive. I don't usually do
we
that.
have this underground event where we call it the Labathon, and we actually run all 4 pubs.
Oh wow!
And the rule is you have to have a beer at every one.
How big of a loop is that? Because Multnomah Village is not a quick. About 7 miles from here.
So it goes from Quimby up through Forest Park, and then ends up at Multnomah, and then Multnomah, Hawthorne to north back to Quimby, and then the event finishes when you consume your 4th beer at Quimby.
Wow!
So
how long does that take?
Yeah.
How long does it take you? We'll just.
Well, it's more of a social thing. It's more of a kind of fun run. Everybody mostly runs together.
So it's a day-long process. You don't necessarily...
Yeah, and we stop for 20, 25 minutes. Okay. And, everybody has a beer.
That sounds fun.
It's definitely not a
race. How do I get on that invite list? That I would love to do that.
You got to know people.
Well, I know you. We'll talk. Have you had it yet for this year?
This will be the 3rd annual.
Okay. So, but has it happened yet?
No.
Okay.
It's coming up this fall.
Well, if you have extra invitations,
okay, all right,
I would
I'll
be
see
interested.
What I can do.
Well, I'm gonna kind of wrap things up here. I've already chatted longer than I was expecting.
Oh, no worries.
This is fun. So, you're a native Portlander, right? Yeah. You and Alex were childhood friends. You, I think, still like each other. You're in business together. So I have kind of the series of favorite Portland things.
Okay.
From running to beer to food to other stuff. And since you are a runner yourself, training for the Western States 100, which is 100 miles, right? Not kilometers. Well, first of all, before we get into that, how in the world do you train for something like that? I mean, I've talked to lots of ultra runners, but no one who's done that. Because not only is it a long way, but it's in the mountains. It's in Colorado, right?
California.
California, okay. What's one isn't there a big one in Colorado too?
Leadville.
Leadville, that's the one. It's elevation. It's just brutal, like hot. How in the world do you train for that? I mean, you don't have to go into your whole training plan, but
sure.
You just run 50 miles a day.
You just run a lot.
Just run a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you care at all about your time, or are you? Yeah. Or you probably are. I mean, you seem like the kind of guy who's like has some specific goals in mind for speed. But
unfortunately, I'm a little bit competitive and try to go as fast as I can. But anyway, if you finish this in under 24 hours, you get a special belt buckle. That's like kind of the big prize. And so
this is like the Super Bowl of ultra running, right?
It's a big race. I've been trying to get into this race 3 years now, and I was lucky to get. I only had a 10% chance to get in this year.
Wow!
And so I was really fortunate to get in this year. I thought it was going to be another 2 or 3 years, and but got in. And if you get in, it's you got to go for it.
Wow!
So
and it's. You have to finish in 24 hours. Is that the?
No, if you make it under 30 hours, that's the official cutoff time.
Oh, okay.
Then you get a bronze belt buckle, but it's the silver buckle that's
the coveted
the main prize.
Okay.
Yeah. And then plus it's just super exciting because there's there's only 350 people in the race, and there's 1,500 volunteers, not to mention spectators. Do
you take your own support crew with you as well?
Yeah, I mean, actually, there's going to be 5 people that are going to be on my crew, and go down there. And part of the game is just keeping me cool, and because it gets over 100 degrees in some of these canyons, and
wild.
So keep the nutrition going because you got to eat and drink and everything.
Constantly. What's your favorite? This isn't one of the questions, but what's your favorite food? I've heard people eating pancakes and cheeseburgers and all kinds of crazy stuff on these ultras. Do you have a go-to like pit stop food?
I go for goo, those little goo packages.
Totally.
Yeah, I go through just a ton of those.
Okay.
It's
quick and easy.
It's quick, easy. You chase it with water, it goes right down,
totally.
And that sort of thing. And as long as I can stomach it, it just goes right down. It's just boom. You can just feel the energy come into you just about a minute after you eat one of those.
Totally agreed. When I was in the process of my first 3 marathons, I just could not find a goo that I liked, but I finally found the Tangerine Power Bar brand.
Yeah.
Is the only one I can just eat no problem. And it has to be tangerine. There's something about that. It's got a little caffeine in it, and
I know people that eat gummy bears. I know people that, fig Newtons. I mean,
I can't do any of that stuff either.
You get at these aid stations, in the middle of one of these races, and it's like a 7-Eleven. It's unbelievable.
Goldfish crackers, beef jerky.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Potato chips. I mean, it's just nuts.
Just like, give me something.
Yeah.
I heard somebody even eating like olive oil. Just because that calories is...
The rage now is pickle juice. Pickle juice is supposed to help with cramps.
That's
I
crazy.
don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't gone there yet, but...
Well, so here's a couple running questions. So where's your favorite place in Portland to do, we'll say a long run? Like a normal person long run.
Forest Park.
Okay.
Forest Park we're so lucky to have Forest Park here. I mean, there's, I don't know how many, 80 miles of trails or something like that up there. So close to being in Portland. We've got a running group called Trail Factor.
Yeah.
And every Tuesday we meet, and we meet at the Thurman Gate, and we go up. There's a 4-miler, a 6-miler, 8-miler, and then everybody meets back at the Quimby Lucky Lab and rehydrates after the run.
That's a great...
It's been going on since 2008 or 9, something like that.
That's every Tuesday?
Every single Tuesday.
What time?
Yeah. 6:15.
6 p.m. or is it
PM.
morning?
Yep.
Okay.
No. Don't drink beer,
That's
7 o'clock.
That's a good point. That's good for hydration. Do you do normal races? Do you have a favorite Portland race or running event that isn't a crazy long 50K, 50-miler, 100-miler?
Oh, boy, I've kind of moved on from that. I'd say, Portland Marathon I've done a whole bunch of times. It's a great race, but I haven't done it in a long, long, long time. Been kind of dedicated to the whole trail thing.
Sure.
There's... not that many trail races like right in Portland, but there's...
Are there any in Forest Park?
There's a Trail Factor 50K that was just a couple weeks ago that I did, and then there's, I think, a Trail Factor Marathon, a Forest Park Marathon, and then there's like the Portland Trail Series, which is actually a really cool event, but it's 5 races a week, 2 weeks apart, but it's a series, so it's 4 or 5 runs, and put on by Go Beyond Racing. And
I've heard of them.
There's a spring, a summer, and a fall series, and they go up and they do about a 5-mile run, and then they do that 5 times over the course of 10 weeks. Super, super cool.
Fun.
And great way to get into trail running too.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool. Yeah, I've been to Forest Park many times, but I've never done an actual trail race of any kind. So that's next on my
it's awesome.
Bucket list. Yeah,
it's a great community, and
it's
and it's just fun being after kind of pounding the pavement, having the being out in the forest and being in nature. It's just great.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, some beer things. Other than Lucky Lab, what is your favorite? I was going to say favorite beer. You could also say favorite brewery, or just when you're not drinking your own beer, do you have another local Portland brewery or beer that you like to drink? And I split up to 2 because some people really like the vibe of certain breweries, but they prefer the beer of another one.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Tough call. I really, really like what Lompoc does.
Oh, yeah. Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry's a goofy guy. I like Jerry a lot.
Yeah. He's a very serious guy. No, not at all. He's making great, and I love the vibe of his pubs. It's hard to it's hard to pinpoint like anyone. It's
picking your favorite kid, right?
It's exactly. It's just there are so many great places, and the one thing I can say is just Portland's awesome.
Yeah,
it is such an awesome place to be a beer drinker, and it's we still have more breweries of any city in the world here. It's amazing.
It boggles my mind.
And there's all kinds of different places, and each one's a little bit different, and it's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, Lompoc. We'll go with that.
Okay.
That's your answer. Good. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna switch over a little bit into the food. So I know that you guys food here You have good food, but you said that you're not a restaurant, so you're not really focused on the food.
Yeah.
So when you want to go for like that top-notch, like you're going out for a really nice meal, do you have a favorite Portland restaurant that you think we're going to make reservations, that's going to be a special occasion?
Oh, boy.
Maybe it's Lucky Lab, other than Lucky Lab.
No. I mean, if it non-Lucky Lab, I would say one of my favorites is just the Ringside Happy Hour.
Oh, where's that?
Ringside, yeah. It's over on West Burnside, and they have this happy hour. I think it's like 9:30, and they have just kind of this bar menu thing, and it's not the kind of hoity-toity steakhouse, kind of thing, but they've got, it's great food, and then plus I've got, kind of a group of people that we usually, kind of hang out there with, that sort of thing. So it's, it's not just that, but just the, camaraderie, and so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you don't strike me as the hoity-toity kind of a guy, but you never know.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your favorite? Maybe it's the same answer, and it can't be Lucky Lab, but like kind of quick service, quick food. A lot of people have mentioned like a favorite food cart or something of that nature. What do you have kind of a fun place that you go that's like maybe it's just simple food, but it's good and you do it a lot? Or maybe it's not even that good. You just like it.
Well, there's I married into a Greek family.
Oh.
And so there's Antoni's down on Beaverton Hillsdale Highway, and my father-in-law.
What's it called?
Antoni's.
Antoni's.
And my father-in-law just loves eating there,
okay.
And so we pretty much anytime there's a family function, we go there. So that's a good. It's I just love the Greek cuisine, and so it's
that's
it's fantastic.
Fun. Okay. You may not have any answers to these, but Portland is a big donut and ice cream. Whenever we have out-of-town visitors, they can't believe how the lines for donuts and ice cream and sometimes cupcakes that exist in the city. So do you have a favorite, we'll just call it indulgence, place that you go when you're like, I really want some bone marrow ice cream with mashed potatoes in it, or a donut with bacon and lasagna on top?
Boy, you know what? I don't really
okay, that's fine.
Indulge that much.
Running 100 miles, I would think that maybe you'd have the occasional 200-calorie donut, or that's okay though.
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, I've been known to eat the occasional bear claw, before a race.
Okay.
But
those are good.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say I don't really have.
Okay.
And all the ice cream, donut shops, all that sort of stuff. I don't really.
You're not into that. Okay.
Well, it's not also
good
into that
because
I know they're slightly addicting. So I have a feeling that if I step foot in one, I'm just,
you have good self-control.
I'm a goner.
So what do you have when you get any sort of sweet craving? Maybe you don't get sweet cravings? Maybe
get them all the time.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
You just fight it, and or do you have something else?
It's kind of weird. I've been running just a stupid amount, trying to get it ready for this race.
What are you running? Like, what's your weekly miles at? 200,
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm usually, training for a race. I kind of ramp up, 60 to about 120 range, and I'm just about, this is kind of my final week, and then I'm going to taper and then do the race. But anyway, I just get these weird cravings, and just lately I've been just, I come home and just cut open an avocado and salt and pepper, a little olive oil, and I just sit there with a spoon and just.
Oh my gosh,
just
Gary, come on, you're making us look bad here.
I don't know, just weird cravings. So,
hey, that's okay. Maybe you're secretly pregnant. You don't know.
But after the race is over, man, wherever the biggest cheeseburger I can get, that's where I'm headed.
All right, so. Good. I want to talk kind of quickly wrapping up. So events. Do you have a favorite, again, you can't say Lucky Lab events, like a beer-related event in Portland?
Oregon Brewers Festival
Okay.
is huge. It's
Is that in July?
yeah,
Okay.
last full weekend in July, I believe.
Okay.
And actually going to be out of town this year
All right,
for
yeah.
it.
You're going to miss our event here on July 29th. Another plug,
Yes,
another
gonna
plug
miss it.
for that.
Yep. And
all right.
but that's just kind of an iconic, I think, Portland event, and really really also helps define Portland as a beer city.
Sure. Yep. I think PDX Beer Week is starting
Yep.
tomorrow? Friday, maybe?
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Okay, last question. Again, being a native Portlander, you have out-of-town family coming to visit you.
Yeah.
Who aren't super familiar with Portland.
Yep.
Where do you take them for an afternoon? That could be anything. It could be a hike. It could be a restaurant. It could be something. I may or may not have family coming. And people listening and watching might find value out of this answer as well.
Wow, where do you take them?
I did not prep you on that question. So
first, the almost the obvious thing is you take them for a beer tour.
Yes, there's that. There is that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then beer tour is kind of number one on the priority list. As far as non-restaurant beer thing, waterfront, Rose Garden,
Yep.
Forest Park.
The Japanese Garden. Have you been up there?
Haven't seen the new one. I've run by it a million times.
Yep, right, exactly.
I see it, and I saw it through the.
There it is.
Saw it through the construction, just the
Right.
contractors slopping through the mud and all winter long. So I was wondering if they were going to get that open or not. But hope to get up there soon.
Okay. Well, Gary, is there anything else that I haven't asked you about Lucky Lab specifically that you are, like, if I could tell the world, because there's millions of people watching this and listening to this, like, this is something I really want people to know about Lucky Lab. What is it?
Oh boy.
We're going to end on this, so make it good.
Yeah, make it good. Well, we're just a casual pub. That's what we're all about. And we are a casual brew pub, I should say.
Brew pub.
And casual brew pub, try to keep it real. And it's kind of what a brew pub should be.
Yeah, well, there's someone over there right now that's doing exactly what you want them to be doing. So,
Yep.
Gary, well, thank you so much.
Anything?
Appreciate the conversation. I'm sorry that you're going to miss our run here in July 29th, but is that when is Western States? Is that weekend or is that
no, June
different?
24th.
Oh, that's coming
June
very
24th.
soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm only going to be out of town for that one.
Gotcha.
That run.
Well, best of luck.
Okay.
Best of luck to you there. Thank you for watching. Again, just to recap, July 29th, we're going to be here at Lucky Lab. We have a lovely course planned. You can click on that registration link. And remember, use Lucky Lab free if you want to run for free, or Lucky Lab 5 if you want to save $5. And you can enjoy their delicious beer, their great food menu. They have, do you guys have pizza at this location?
No.
No, that's just in your north.
Yep.
Your north location.
Northwest, and Southwest.
Gotcha. And we will see you next time right here on the Oregon Brew Running Series. So, see you next time.